This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Thursday night, November the 4th, 2021. Joining me, as always, in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, coming to you live from his underground bunker deep in the heart of Center County, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, non-genetically proven Sun. You know, it feels like we just did this like 23 and a half hours ago.
We did.
Did we?
Doesn't feel like it. No, we did.
Here, I thought that was a bad dream.
It was that too.
I gotta see your ugly mug 2 days in a row. Oy, oy, oy.
Unfortunate for you.
God awful. God awful. So,
Shame.
I wanted to start off tonight's show. For those of you that tune in for the sports shows, not the political shows, you probably all know who Dave Portnoy is. No comment
I'm sure.
there? You don't want to...
I'm sure.
Would you like to tell everybody who Dave Portnoy is?
Julio.
He is the founder of Barstool Sports.
El Presidente.
El Presidente. And, you know, he teamed up with Penn Gaming, you know, over a year ago now, to create this conglomerate. So... an article came out today in, I don't know if it's a magazine or if it's just a website, called Business Insider. Basically talking about Dave Portnoy's sexual practices. Why would Business Insider be looking at Dave Portnoy's sexual practices? Because apparently a couple women, you know, are saying, like, he's into weird, kinky shit. Like, who the fuck cares? Who isn't into weird, kinky shit? I mean, guys, for those of you that watch this show, if you're only banging your woman in the regular, normal position, yeah, your woman's going to eventually leave you. You know, women are into some kinky shit. Apparently, there was this one girl who she was screaming, stop, 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 and he wouldn't stop, and he was hurting her, blah, 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 blah. Who knows what the truth is? Has there been any allegations made of criminal wrongdoing? No, there hasn't. This is just appearing in an article in Business Insider. Again, Business Insider. Why would a business be looking into Dave Portnoy's sexual conquests?
Don't know.
I mean, they might as well be looking into mine. I may not be a big fish, but I am a fat fish.
All right.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I was almost the mayor of State College.
Oh, almost.
I was just a couple hundred votes away from winning. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, if there was 100,000 votes cast and I only lost by a couple hundred, that's pretty close.
There would be a recount.
There would be. Maybe there is one going on.
Maybe.
Again, you know, I brought this up a couple months ago when Cuomo was under the allegations. And people were coming out saying, oh, he's, saying all these bad things about Como. And I wouldn't say anything about it because you don't know what's going on between two adults. I don't know what's going on between two adults. Were you in the bedroom? No. Were you in Dave Portnoy's bedroom? No. So supposedly the article, the woman who wrote the article, this young woman, which, by the way, you can't see the article unless you pay. It's behind a paywall. Just saying. Just saying. Can't read it for free. It's behind a paywall. Spent 8 months investigating. Talked to a lot of different women. But the article specifically talks to two women. From what I understand, both women sought out Dave to basically have sex with him. Interesting. One, they were talking for about a month and a half. They're coming here. Maybe they're telling me about my recount as we speak. They're not telling me about the recount.
Unfortunate.
At least I don't think so. It came up as scam. Probable scam. Maybe it's the reporter trying to ask me if I had sex with Dave Portnoy. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
The answer to that is no. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so she was talking to him for a month. A lot of DMs going back and forth about life. Had a little text sex. Nothing wrong with that. Again, two consenting adults. It's not like she was below the age of 18. I don't know exactly how old she was. I didn't read I don't know anything about this girl. I don't even know her name. And then she chose to board a plane to fly to him. I would think she knew what was going to happen, wouldn't you? Just saying.
You would think.
After having, text sex, I don't think she's going to fly to wherever she flew to, whether it was his home when he was in New York or Nantucket or wherever, and they were going to go to church. I highly doubt that. But maybe they did go to Sunday Mass. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? So they did what they were going to do, apparently. And there was some hints maybe that she had a rape fantasy. Don't know if that's true. Again, don't know. I wasn't there. Wasn't there. But apparently they had rough sex. Again, nothing wrong with that if it's two consenting adults. She said it hurt. Maybe he's endowed like, Aunt Jemima's son. Who knows? Maybe that's why it hurt. Maybe he's endowed like me. Maybe that's why it hurt. I doubt it, but okay.
All right.
I changed your diaper when you were young. He's not endowed.
Thanks.
Hey, don't bet. Hey, it's when you were, 12 months old. You could have grown since then. Let's hope it did. Let's hope it did. Just saying. Apparently, after the deed, they got to talking, and they found out basically that they didn't like each other, and she slept on the couch. Whether it was his choice or her choice, don't know. Don't know. So the second girl, again, she initiated the contact from what I understand. This second girl, he has all the DMs that they did back and forth. She asked to meet him in a bar. So obviously she's over 21. Or at least 21. And they did what they were going to do. And something like they never talked to each other again. And she wound up in the hospital with depression. Like, did she think he was going to think she was such a good lay that he was going to marry her? And when that didn't happen, she wound up in the hospital? Maybe, maybe not. Again, no allegations were brought to the police at any time, apparently. So, of course the internet is abuzz with how much of a scumbag Dave Portnoy is. Well, I'm sorry, again, you read an article written by a woman, you don't know what kind of slant she had. Maybe she wanted Dave Portnoy, and at one time he rejected her. Do you know that for sure? No. Could it have happened? Yes. You don't know what kind of agenda this woman had. Be careful, cancel culture people. Because the next person that tries to be canceled might be you. Or it might be me. Again, I'm not a big fish, I'm a fat fish. So be careful, cancel culture. But here's the interesting thing. This is what made me decide to talk about this. So again, a year or two ago, Penn Gaming bought part of Barstool Sports. Okay? They released their third quarter earnings today. This morning.
Mm-hmm.
This article came out today. This article about the sexual practices of Dave Portnoy in a business magazine, mind you, Business Insider, came out today on the same day they release their third quarter earnings report. Interesting, don't you think?
Pretty coincidental.
For those of you that are into coincidences and maybe making some money in the stock market, pretty interesting. Then a report comes out late this afternoon on a Twitter page that I follow, and you should follow too if you're in the stock market, called Unusual Whales. That's the Twitter page. Unusual Whales likes to post unusual moves in the options part of the stock market. For those of you that don't know what options trading is, look it up. I could explain to you, but I would not do justice in trying to explain it to you. But that's where the real money is in the stock market, is options trading. And yes, you could bet that a stock is going to go down and make money. That's the key to this, from what I'm about to say. That's the key. So apparently, before the earnings came out this morning and before the story came out today, there was a lot of activity shorting Penn stock this morning. A lot of activity. Millions of dollars worth of activity shorting the stock. Somebody knew something in advance. By the way, the share price of Penn National fell 20% today. Just saying.
Wow.
Just saying. You're looking it up now, aren't you?
I am.
Uh-huh. Felt like $15 a share.
15. Yeah, you're even getting a warning that has elevated volatility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it crashed at about 11 o'clock.
Yes.
11 to 11:40, it went down $3 right there.
Yes. Now, their earnings reports usually come out about 9, 10 o'clock. The story came out after the earnings report. You don't think that bad news is going to raise the stock price, do you? No, it's probably going to lower the stock price. Again, why would Business Insider release an article on earnings report day about Dave Portnoy's sex life?
They don't have much of a reason to.
Nick says he's hung like Julio. Little Poppy. That's from last night's episode.
Oh, Poppy.
So just think about that for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. The smart people watch this show. All 12 of you. Think about that. Why would Business Insider publish an article which you can't read unless you pay for it? Oh, you have to own a membership. Why would they publish an article about the Dave Portnoy's sexual exploits and publish it on the day Penn is going to release their earnings? Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences, personally. Especially this.
It's just a very weird coincidence.
You have anything else to say?
Well, was their earnings report good or bad?
It wasn't not a very good earnings report.
Okay, so if it was good, that would be a weird coincidence. If it's bad, I almost feel like it just kind of adds to it.
I mean,
like I feel like Penn goes down $10 either way today.
Well, the earnings report is not going to make the stock collapse 20%. It's not going to make the stock collapse probably not even 10%. It's the story that got the bigger reaction.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a wave on top of each other, on top of each other. It's like a never-ending wave on top of that. And it winds down, what was it, 21%, I believe it was. Now, it's rebounded a little bit after hours, like another buck.
Yeah, it's up like $1.50.
Yeah. Just interesting. That a lot of people made money today off of a story about somebody's sex life. Again, nobody in the story ever contacted the authorities. Supposedly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you think of Dave. A lot of people don't like Dave.
A lot of people do not like that.
I like Dave because he tells it like it is. He says what's on his mind. I like people like that. I wouldn't give a fuck if he came up to me and said, "You're the fattest, fucking, ugliest piece of shit on the face of the planet." If that's his true opinion.
Laugh. You'd probably laugh, actually.
I'd say, well, yeah, but I got a bigger dick than you. At least so says your mom. That's what I would say. But Dave's a good guy. In fact, this is the respect that I have for Barstool Sports. Have I not told you repeatedly to apply for a job there?
That you have.
Yes. If I didn't have respect for Barstool Sports, I would not tell you that I think you should apply for a job there. That'd be cool for you to be in his inner circle when, and sit there when they're, doing their live things around baseball and football and,
Would be fun.
Yeah.
So does 150,000 other people, at least.
Yeah. But if you have the right personality and you show the ability to win at betting, and you name drop me,
Oh, yeah.
you're in.
I'm in.
So let's move on to the college football playoff rankings.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? So they were released Tuesday.
That they were.
No shock who was number one. I think we could agree on that.
Yeah, I would agree on that one.
We'll go over the numbers, the top six, and then I know you wanted to talk about a couple others. I could care less about anybody else other than the top six. So we both agree Georgia should be number one.
Correct.
And it's not even close.
No.
Like if Georgia is number one at 100 points, number two should be somewhere in like 83.
I was thinking like 78.
Yeah. So they have Alabama at number two. I completely disagree with Alabama being at number two.
I also disagree.
They have Michigan State at number three. I think Michigan State should be number two.
I think Michigan State should be number two.
Okay. So far we agree. Who do you think should be number three?
This is where it starts getting tough. I still like Alabama at 3, though.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Now, personally, I don't think you're going to see Alabama there at the end of the year because the only way they make the playoffs is to win out and beat Georgia in the conference championship game.
Correct.
I, at this moment, don't see that happening. It's not to say that it can't happen. But God, that Georgia defense is really good. Holy jeez.
Yeah, they are really good.
I just heard it last night. I think they have 33 players that are 4-star and 5-star. On their defensive side of the ball. Not on the team, mind you.
The defensive side of the ball.
On the defensive side of the ball. I heard that. I went, what? Well, no wonder why they're so good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the interesting part is probably their best player on defense, their nose guard, was only a 3-star coming out of high school. He's not a 3-star anymore, I'll tell you that.
He's a top 5 pick.
It might even be higher. But yeah, it was either 32 or 33. It might or 34. Like it's somewhere in the low 30s. 4 or 5-star players on their defense.
On the defense.
Like what? What?
The
Say again.
The dynasty is coming.
Excuse me. Come again. You could have the Houston Texans offense and still win.
It'd be actually probably not a terrible game. They probably wouldn't get blown out.
Holy, like I heard that. So, all right, so fine. We want to put Alabama 3. And we can put Alabama 3. Now is where you and I start to disagree.
Correct.
They have, actually, we're going to talk about the top 7. They have Oregon 4.
Correct.
Do you have Oregon 4?
No.
No. Who do you have 4?
It's you could put any of the next 4. If you really want to slot them in 4, you could.
Okay, and who would those 4 be?
Between Oregon, Ohio State, 5. Oregon, Ohio State, Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma.
Okay, so who do you have as 4?
I put Oklahoma there for now.
Oh, is it only because they're undefeated?
Only because they're undefeated. I don't love them yet.
Okay.
I would easily drop them out if they aren't very convincing the next couple games.
I would agree with you ever since they changed their quarterbacks. Except even with that quarterback, they barely beat Kansas.
Yeah, that game was a little weird.
And I get it. You can have bad games. I completely get it. I completely get it. Who do you have as 5 then?
Oregon.
And who do you have as 6?
Michigan.
7?
Ohio State.
Then you have Cincinnati in 8.
Cincinnati and 8.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not so bad. I'm assuming you have Oregon above Ohio State simply because Oregon went into Ohio State and beat them.
Yes. And then I have Michigan above Ohio State because Michigan State's better than Oregon.
Yes. Okay. So I have Michigan at number 4. So I'm going to take Cincinnati out. Cincinnati deserves to be in the conversation, but if you're not going to be in a Power 5 conference, if you want to make it to the top 4, you better be blowing out your opponents, not winning by 7 against Navy.
Yeah.
You know, the last 2-3 weeks, they haven't looked the greatest.
No, they're not convincing whatsoever.
Now, I know you go ahead, finish your thought.
They had a really good game with it was actually a good game in the first half. Who'd they just play?
I don't know.
It was the green team. I don't know.
Tulane, Tulsa.
Wait, Tulane. Like, honestly, Tulane at a point looked like they could have won the game.
Yeah. Now, I know we might see Cincinnati a little bit later in one of our picks for the Phantastic Phive. Obviously, if you took it, and if you didn't take it, I may have taken it. So, yeah. And whichever one of us may have taken it, we'll discuss our reasoning later.
Correct.
But I have Michigan at number 4, over Oregon, over Ohio, certainly over Ohio State. Ohio State cannot be number 4 right now. They lost to Oregon at home. Now, granted, to me, you get penalized when you lose at home. Why do I have Michigan there? Michigan, okay, they lost on the road to the team that I would have at number 2. And they have one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten, tougher than Ohio State at this time. Oregon lost to Stanford
at home
when they gave up a 99-yard drive in the last 2 minutes of the game to send the game into overtime.
Very, very controversial.
That's a bad loss. Yeah, it was controversial. Definitely was. Definitely was. There was the last play of the game, there was pass interference that gave Stanford another shot, and they wound up scoring. Definitely controversial. The good news is in the Big Ten, it's all going to shake itself out. Because, Michigan still has some tough games. Ohio State still has some tough games. Ohio State and Michigan State still have to play. Ohio State and Michigan still have to play.
Michigan, I could easily see getting another 2 losses.
Oh, yeah. It's certainly possible. Honestly, depending upon how Penn State looks going into that game, they play each other next week, right?
Yeah, next week.
I could see Penn State easily beating Michigan.
You're going to have a very whiteout-esque.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, it's a helmet out.
Yes. 2 sections are blue for the stripe in the helmet, and everyone else wears white. Yeah. So it's just a whiteout. But they don't have to call it whiteout because that would ruin the point of whiteout to call it whiteout again.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
personally,
but if we play like we did against Ohio State, we could easily beat Michigan.
Yeah. So it's all going to shake itself out. But to me, this screams that we need an expanded playoff.
Yeah, I am silently rooting for Michigan State. Because, one, screw Ohio State. Michigan State's probably going to take the land-grant trophy.
We'll see.
That beautiful trophy.
For those that don't know what it is, why don't you explain what it is?
The land-grant trophy is, not
explain what the trophy looks like. Explain what the trophy is.
Yeah, it's the 2 land-grant schools, Penn State, Michigan State, and when they play each other, whoever wins gets the trophy because it was our rivalry, and for some reason it's kind of fallen apart other than just for the trophy.
Yes. It should have never been our Penn State's rivalry game. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
it makes just no sense. I mean,
Michigan State was supposed to be the worst team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be about 1-7 at this time.
Yeah. So it's really cool. I tell you what, when we were the discussion last week about coaching replacements for Franklin, if he did decide to leave, I will take Michigan State's coach.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I've learned more about him this week on how he motivates his players and how he recruits his players and shit. Yeah, I'll take him. I'll take him as a replacement for Franklin if Franklin decides to leave. Yes. So again, it shakes itself out. Probably every week we'll do our playoff rankings. I will say that Vegas came out with fictional lines. Georgia was like a 17.5 point favorite over Oregon, and Alabama was an 18.5 point favorite over Michigan State.
I might take Michigan State all day if they were 18.5 point underdogs.
I might too. I might too.
Because I think they have a real shot to have a Heisman winner.
Oh, hell yeah. He's got to be the favorite at this point.
So good.
Yes. Yes. So, without further ado, let's get to this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive.
Woo!
Boom shakalaka boom shakalaka boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Let's go over your picks first, shall we? From last week.
Sure.
So, and then we could talk about the disaster that were mine. My picks. Easily could have been a winning record that turned disastrous.
Yeah.
So, you liked the over 37 in Iowa, Wisconsin.
How I only scored 7.
That game should have went over.
Yeah, it should have went over.
You like Georgia team total over 32.5, and you kind of got lucky they went over.
Yeah, I got it right at the end. They played such a bad first half, and they got 2 turnovers and 2 easy touchdowns, so the score didn't look bad, but they didn't play very good.
No, they didn't. Then you had a pick that nobody seemed to like.
Yep.
From the people that watch this show. Penn State plus 18.5. Good pick.
Easy
pick.
win. Penn State always plays Ohio State close. I don't care how good Penn State is anymore. They were going to play them close. We always come in. We do play them with a good strategy. It's just how much can our offense do?
Yes.
That's all the question is.
Yes. Reading some things the last few days on that game, they actually think if Penn State had a running game, they could have beaten Ohio State.
I would probably agree.
Then you had the Chargers, just a bad pick.
They played so bad.
Over New England. They lost outright. And then you had the over in the Jacksonville-Seattle game. I told you Seattle was going to trash Jacksonville. You laughed at me.
Hey, Seattle did their job.
They did.
Trevor Lawrence is officially a bust for me. He sucks.
Well, he doesn't have a good supporting cast.
You got to score more than 7 points on the worst defense in the goddamn league.
Coming off a bye.
Yeah, you got to score more than 7.
Yeah. Yes. So you went
when you have 54 platforms and you scored 7?
Yeah.
That's pathetic. Yeah. I don't care how good your wide receivers are.
So you went 2-3 on the week.
Yes, I did.
Let's talk about the disaster that was my picks. And this could only happen to me. Only happen to me.
This is probably true.
So I had Iowa plus 3.5 against Wisconsin. That was the game last week where I said I don't understand the line, and I didn't understand it the wrong way. I should have not understood it why Wisconsin was giving such few points. I said that Iowa's defense would control the game and intercept Wisconsin at least twice in the game.
Wisconsin intercepted twice.
But they could have, though. Early in that game, their defense played really well, and they had some chances to make some plays.
Correct.
Then we have the first debacle of the day.
I also bet this game.
Yeah, so did I. Don't worry. Florida State plus 9.5 over Clemson.
Looked easy for 99/100ths of the game.
Clemson was up by 4 with 3 seconds to go. Florida State had the ball.
They
on their
did.
30-yard line. The play before, they tried a Hail Mary, and the guy couldn't reach the end zone, so they weren't going to try a Hail Mary again, so they tried to do the 18.5 laterals. And you and I were, like, talking to each other as this play was happening.
Yeah.
And if you recall, I said, well, I'll let you go. And I said, no, I'll just hold on until the end of this game.
Right.
I hate, when I'm winning a football bet, I hate to see that play. Because inevitably, it gets fucked up a lot more than it works.
Right.
And for the third time in my betting life, I lost because of a lateral play. Florida State fucked up the lateral on like the 5th or 6th lateral, and the Clemson linemen, 870 pounds of them, picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown, and Clemson won by 10. Yes. Now, thankfully for me betting, I pushed because I bought a half a point, which I have to teach you how to buy half points.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to teach you how to do that. Because at 9.5, that's an automatic, especially since you're not betting, like thousands of dollars.
True.
That's an automatic bet the half point up and cover with the VIG. Pitt, team total over 34.5. With 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they had 34.
I also bet this game.
Mind you, basically them and Miami played no huddle offense the entire game. So you can imagine how many possessions each team had. Pitt ended up losing that game. They did not score another freaking point in the last 14 minutes of the game. This is now the second time Pitt has done this to me.
You said that you were glad they lost.
Yes. With 5 minutes to go, though, it looked like they scored a safety that didn't count as a safety.
Yeah.
So that's 2 wins I should have had. Oregon State Cal, they just scored more points than I thought they would have. That went over early in the fourth quarter. And then we have Houston team total under 15.5.
This one is another one that's just how.
They played the Rams.
They play the Rams.
With 8.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, how many points did Houston have?
0?
0. 0. So for 51 minutes and some odd seconds, they had 0 points in a 60-minute game.
Correct.
With 2 minutes to go, they had how many points?
21?
22.
22?
They scored 3 touchdowns in 6.5 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
When the game was 38-0 at that point.
Yep, so the Rams probably had their Z team out.
And that's how, ladies and gentlemen, you go from a winning week of 3-2 to getting fucked over and going 0-5.
Woo! First 0-5! You had the first 5-0 and the first 0-5.
I didn't have a 5-0 yet. At least this
I
year.
swear you said we had a 5-0 already.
Maybe last year. I'd have to go back and look, but
Oh yeah, last year I think someone had a 5-0.
certainly not this year. I went 4-1 a number of times. Pitt fucked me over on a 5-0 week against Virginia Tech when they couldn't score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I promise you don't see Pitt team total this week, and it'll cover.
I actually thought about taking Pitt team totals this week.
Motherfucker.
But it's a little high.
It is. It's 42.5. So let's look at your picks.
Yay!
Some of these I like, especially the first one. So you have Ohio State first half minus 7.5. They're playing at Nebraska.
This is solely based off the statistics that you showed me, where Ohio State, their 3 previous games against much inferior opponents, they score a lot of touchdowns.
They do.
And Penn State, that's kind of a throwaway. That's definitely the best defense they've probably seen all year.
Oh, for sure.
So, throw that away. But they should easily be able to be up 8 by the half.
You would think.
You would think.
Yes. Okay, your second pick, I was going to take this game too, but this falls into my Iowa trap of last week where I don't understand this line, so I didn't touch it. You have Michigan State minus 3 on the road again, another road team, at Purdue.
I don't understand the line either, to be honest. Purdue is,
They are 5-3. They're 5-3.
Yeah, they'll make a bowl. They're all right.
Yeah.
But only a field goal against Purdue? Come on now.
Yeah.
I think that's a little rude, to be honest. There's got to be some sort of reason that it's only 3, because you're saying
on a neutral field they're an even team.
Yeah.
That's what that's saying. On a neutral field, the game's a pick.
No, well, they're at Purdue, so on the neutral field they'd be 6.
Sorry. Yeah, I know.
But you're only giving me 3? I don't know. Something seems off about it, but it's kind of an automatic pick once I saw it.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, on Monday the line was 2.5.
Interesting.
Yes. Then you have Michigan team total over 34.5. They're playing Indiana at home.
Yes. Indiana's defense is very. I mean, Ohio State put up a butt ton on them. We only put up like 28 because we suck. But I think they should be able to put up around 40 in this game. Coming off of a loss.
Let's hope they're not up 34-6 going into the fourth quarter.
That would suck because they would just run the ball.
Then there's that Cincinnati team, minus 22. And you gave me reasoning, and it makes sense to me. It makes sense.
It does make sense. So the reasoning behind this is now they know where they stand with the committee.
Yes.
And I would hope that's where they expected to be.
I think they expected to be higher.
I would really hope they didn't expect to be in the top 4 after barely beating Navy and then struggling against whoever they just played.
Yeah.
So I think they got to go to the mentality what they need to blow out everybody.
Yeah. Good. That's a good thinking process there.
So I'm hoping they can figure out a way to put up 40, because I think with 40 they cover. And I really think they should be able to put up 40.
Okay. And you took one pro game this week. You took the under 48, which you don't usually see Kansas City in under.
No.
Green Bay, Kansas City, under 48. For those of you that don't know, Aaron Rodgers is not playing.
One reason why I took it, I think Green Bay is going to run the ball a good, healthy amount. Also, I was in between taking Green Bay, getting the 7.5, or the under. Because Kansas City is known for not covering lines for whatever reason. Correct. I mean, they barely just beat the freaking Giants.
Correct.
Who might as well be a backup team anyways.
Correct.
So, I really like the score to be like 20-17. I don't know who's going to win.
Got it.
But I like a nice low-scoring game.
I could tell you right now, that was Green Bay, Kansas City was going to be my play of the week before Rodgers was out. I was going to hammer Green Bay because they were an underdog.
Mahomes might be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now.
Well, he's turning the ball over too much.
Yeah, he keeps throwing picks. He has the most picks.
Yes. Kansas City was a favorite in this game. and I was going to hammer Green Bay.
If Rodgers was playing, I would have also played Green Bay getting points.
Yes, and one of the main reasons was you had Green Bay coming off a Thursday game, Kansas City coming off a Monday game.
Yeah.
A lot more rest for Green Bay, a lot more preparation time for Kansas City. Kansas City, again, look it up. I say this every year, ladies and gentlemen. You get facts here on Phatts TV. Unless you have Tom Brady on your team, if you lose the previous year's Super Bowl, you normally do not make the playoffs the following year. Look it up. Look it up. You'll see it doesn't. You'd be shocked at how often the Super Bowl loser does not make the playoffs the following year, unless you have Tom Brady on your team.
Yeah.
It's
Then you win
shocking how often that happens. I would have hammered Green Bay here, getting a point and a half, whatever it was. Hammered it. I'm glad I didn't take it early in the week. So glad I didn't take it early in the week.
Another game that I looked at, the one game I left out was a college game. I left out Georgia against Missouri. They were given 39. I feel like that's a little high. I don't know how much Georgia really cares. Like, do they really care to win by 60? They might.
Right. I'll tell you this, though. Missouri's going to struggle to score.
Missouri might put up a goose egg.
Yes.
And if they don't, it's no more than 7.
Yes.
So
in my picks, well, let's just recap yours. You have Ohio State first half minus 7.5, Michigan State minus 3, Michigan team total over 34.5. So for those of you that don't know, that's just Michigan themselves. They have to score more than 34.5 points. Cincinnati minus 22, and then you have a pro game, Green Bay, Kansas City under 48. I have 4 college games myself and 1 pro game. But there were 2 other college games that I liked that there's no lines up for yet. I could get them offshore, but I can't get them in Pennsylvania, and that disappointed me, and I will tell you what those 2 picks are. So here are my picks for the week. We do have one game the same, though. I have Ohio State team total over 40.5. And again, like I say every week, I love to look at your reaction because you don't see my picks before I show them here.
I would have also probably played their team total, but we kind of discussed not to do that.
Yes, we keep it to 1 play per game. Yes. This next play scares me a little bit, but they scored 109 points last year when they played each other.
So here comes the 7-2.
Yes. Wake Forest, North Carolina, over 76.5. Points galore in that game. At least there should be. Penn State, I was not going to play this game. Then today the line came down a point. So now instead of giving 10.5, I'm only giving 9.5. I thought that was interesting. I think Penn State wins this game by double digits.
I would like to think that, but for some reason, this game scares me a little.
Okay.
Not saying we're going to lose.
Let's also just say this game scared you 2 years ago.
Yeah, we won, 58-0?
Yeah. It was a Friday night game. Maryland wore their black uniforms.
Yeah, and there was a blackout.
It was a blackout.
It ended up being a whiteout because there was more Penn State fans there.
Well, especially by the end of the game. The whole student section were Penn State fans.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, I think Penn State will win, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of those 17-13 kind of games.
See, the real play I like in this is, and I can't bet it yet because it's not there, but it's there offshore. Maryland under 21 team points.
Now that I do like.
Yeah.
I do like under 21 team points.
It's not there yet. I tried. Now, we take our lines off of Barstool Sports. But I looked at a bunch of different books in Pennsylvania, and none of them had it. Offshore, though, does.
Interesting.
I have Alabama team total over 47.5. They're playing LSU. They can name the score this week. I think they run up the score as much as possible. Only the revenge factor from 2 years ago when LSU went into Alabama and beat them. Alabama's coming off of a bye, and I know they have a hard game next week. They play New Mexico State.
Ooh. 1-7 New Mexico State. That's like when they play Citadel. Like, why?
Yes. Yes. So, I didn't know which one I wanted to do here. I could have done Alabama team total over. I could have done Alabama minus 28.5. I could have done the over 66. I think all of them are winners.
I could see Alabama putting up like 60 and LSU putting up like 20.
Yeah, so could I. This is the other game, though, where I like to play that isn't up yet, and it may not be up, and that was Alabama minus 17.5 first half. But it's not there yet. It's offshore, though. And my pro game, I took Atlanta, New Orleans, first half under 21 points. So, New Orleans is very under the radar, but they're a top 5 defense in the league. In a lot of categories. A lot of categories. Atlanta is a very slow first half team. They average 8 points in the first half of games so far this year.
Three
New
touchdowns
Orleans,
in their first
New Orleans yet doesn't know what quarterback is playing. Winston is out.
That he is.
He's out for the season. They don't know if Hill is ready to come back yet. So they could be starting whatever his name is, their third string quarterback. I think this, at least in the first half, is very close to the vest. The over-under for the game is 42. I like that too. But I could easily see 7-3 at the half. Easily see it. So, let's hope I do better than 0-5.
I hope for another 0-5 week for you.
Well, then, that means you're not betting my games.
This is one week where I only like the Ohio State play, honestly.
Okay. Really? You don't think Alabama is going to put up...
Yeah, I also like the Alabama play. But I feel like I always take an Alabama play. Or a Georgia play.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so I have Ohio State team total over 40.5. Wake, North Carolina over 76.5. Penn State minus 9.5. Alabama team total over 47.5. And Atlanta, New Orleans, first half under 21. And those are this week's Phatts Phantastic 5. And that's us with the logo. All right, well, football's just about to start. In fact, it's probably kicking off right about now. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, what an NFL game it is.
What a great game. What a great game. I actually took in my... Shit, I hope I put that... I didn't put them in, did I? Cocksucker. Hopefully
Your,
hold on. Hold that thought. Where are you?
Your suicide pool?
No. Shit. Picks. My picks. Shit, it already... Oh, it started 4 minutes ago and I didn't put my play in. Fuck. Well, now I don't care.
Finkley pool?
No, my office pool online.
Oh.
That's the first time I had it, I just never clicked submit. I was taking the Jets in the pool.
Like the Jets getting 10.
10.5. When in doubt, always take underdogs. Always. When in doubt. Shit, I forgot to hit submit. I did them at like 4 o'clock and never submitted it. Oh well. No biggie. Except this is the last week of the first half and I'm sitting in fourth and the top 5 get paid. Of course. And I missed it by 3 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great, safe, happy, enjoyable weekend wherever your endeavors take you. Remember, if you're going to have rough sex, don't do it with a girl that's going to run to a magazine. Say goodbye to the folks. See ya.